Most people are selling AI completely wrong. Today I'm going to show you the system that I used to get me $6.5 thousand in revenue in just 2 weeks after launching my first ads for my AI agency. And the best part about this is you don't need to be a coder, you don't need to be a master salesman, and you definitely do not need to already know the business. Like I said, I started this 3 months ago. I didn't even know what this was 3 months ago. And in that time frame, I was able to successfully launch my ads and collect over $5,000. So let's get into it. What does an AI agency offer? So the first thing you need to know is how the whole backend system works for your actual customers, not how to sell it, and why this is so important. So the first thing here we're going to see is leads, appointments, and customers. So really what you're going to be doing is capturing leads for your customer using AI to convert those leads into booked appointments, and then obviously the customer does the work in converting them into a sale for their business. So really this is actually a win-win system because you're actually going to be helping your customer do the whole funnel, the whole bridge, as I like to say in this channel. You guys always know I like to sell the whole system. If you're just selling leads by itself, you're not going to last that long. It's what, marketing agencies tend to do. But some people, like real estate agents, can't go off of just leads because all those cold leads, it's just too much to handle. So you use AI to go ahead and vet those people, and then from there turn them into appointments for your customers. And this is actually really good. So what this is actually solving a problem in any space. You're going to see what type of business models can use this. There's so many more than what is on this list, guys, but this is just the most common and most basic ones that would really benefit a lot from this business model and what most people are running right now. Obviously, there is a couple other categories that you could add. There's high ticket online stuff like maybe selling somebody's course or info courses, whatever the case may be. There's also marketing agencies. You can do it for them too, but that's a little bit more difficult. I don't really recommend that as your first one unless you had something like that in the past. Then in that case, you know the lingo, you know how to talk to these people. That would make sense, right? But to start off, you can even do on here, you're going to see, there's even HVAC, and what else? You can even do cleaning companies. I mean, you can do pressure washing, right? Pressure washing. There's just so much stuff you can do. So, I mean, I can keep going and going, but for the most part, these service companies are the better ones. Obviously, realtor is a home service. There's a couple other home service ones you can do, but it's just kind of bunching it all together. So I'm currently just doing realtors. Why? Well, that's because I was a realtor. As many of you guys know, I've said in the channel, I was a real estate agent for a few years. I know how to speak to them. I know their exact pain points, and I know what they're looking for. So that's why I picked it. And the only reason I picked realtors, to be honest, it's a bit saturated, but because I know how to speak to them, because I know exactly, like I said, what they're suffering from, it's pretty easy for me. Pool builders, obviously, solar companies, roofers, HVAC, cleaning, and pressure washing. So the cleaning, pressure washing, I mean, it's a bit more lower ticket. HVAC repair can be a little bit more. Roofers, obviously, the roof is very expensive. Solar is also very expensive. So stuff like that, I mean, the people can charge a lot of money for, and they're looking for leads, good quality leads, not just garbage leads, are really good. So I recommend you guys just stick with one and don't go doing everything. Take a week or two if you really need to pick. If you're not 100% sure, if you say, hey, Franco, I have no idea. I've never done any of this. Maybe your dad was a roofer and you can ask him for tips. Maybe your mom was a realtor or she is one. That works, right? But if you have no idea, pick whatever has one of the highest type of revenues for these companies. So pool builders make a lot of money off of their pools. Solar companies, roofers, realtors make a lot of money, obviously. So once you get down to cleaning company, pressure washing, the amount of money that they charge per client goes down compared to solar companies. For example, a cleaning company might charge anywhere from 150 to 300 or 500. I don't know, maybe on the high end, depending on the house. So compared to a roofer, which could be anywhere from $15,000 to $30,000. Same for, pool builders or realtors, even more. So the higher you go, the better, right? Because you're going to get clients to have more money in general, unless you're just starting off, which sometimes you're going to get people that are just starting off and looking to kind of boost their business. That might happen, but you're going to have a lot more of an easier time selling to potential customers that are actually collecting and doing things that can get them over $10,000 in, revenue, instead of just, charging $300 to clean a house and they're left with 100 after everything. It's a bit harder to do that, and you have to make a very unique offer for them. We do leads, appointments, and then the deals. You guys know this. What we offer is exactly that. So they don't have to be struggling anymore with the leads. Like I said, pricing wise, I've seen this program, people charge anywhere from $2,000 all the way up to $10, even $15,000 for this service. And I'll touch base a little bit more on my slideshow and what I use when I go through this with possible prospects, and show you guys a little bit more of the back end stuff there. It's pretty simple, but I will be showing that. This is what I'm doing right now. 5,000 up front for a 3-month service, and then two payments of 2,500 if they can't swing the 5,000 up front. Now, this is very simple. If they are actually trying to do this, for example, real estate agents, when they get commission on a house, I'd say average in the country, it's going to be anywhere from a $6,000 check to it can even be $15,000, but on average around $7,000 or $8,000, I'd say for the medium, depending on their split and brokerage, right? So that's why it's very important that you know exactly what your potential client is making and how much they can make. I was a real estate agent. I know exactly how these brokers operate, how much they take. So if they tell me they're on an 80-20 split, not that bad. If they tell me they're on a 50-50 or a 20-80, then that's pretty bad. And I know that the 5,000 is going to get a bit harder for them to swing. So that's where that experience helps. So then we have the two payments of 2,500. One of my first sales that I did do real estate agent. And she had a limit on her card for $1,500. And just like how one of my mentors says, better collect some money than none. So if you have to get creative, like what I did there was I was like, you know what? I'll get you a deal if you sign up right now. I'll show you guys this sales calls later. I'll be reviewing it in another video. But I was like, if you can just swing $1,500 now, and then we'll do two more payments for $1,500, equaling $4,500. I know I knocked $500 off of the price, but it was one of my first ones, and she was okay with it. So if you're $500 off a deal, I'd say just do it. I'd rather, especially when you're starting off, I'd say it's better to collect some money than none, because it just helps you boost tremendously. Now, with that money, obviously you're gonna have to do the build out for that customer, run the ads, whatever, right? But at the end of the day, that's an extra $4,500 that you wouldn't have had, an extra $4,500 that you have. Let's say after maybe the build out and everything, you're left with, I don't know, it's just easy numbers, 2,000. That's really good. I mean, you don't even have to pay yourself. I wouldn't until you get more. That's what I'm doing right now. I'm not paying myself because I do have a 9 to 5, but I'm just putting it all back into the business, doubling the ads and everything. So it's very, very important. For the first couple ones, if you have to swing a deal, if you have to say, hey, you know what, I totally understand, let's do, I don't know, even if you have to do 3 payments of 1,000 down and then 1,500 after, whatever, right? Just get some money in the door. And then obviously the best part of this whole thing is a guarantee. So because when we're just starting off, and including myself, I'm still pretty new at this. I don't have crazy reviews. I have some Trustpilot reviews. I have a couple clients that I'm going to be asking for reviews soon once this whole fulfillment thing goes up for them, and I know it's going to work, right? But if you have no clients, no nothing, it gets a little bit more complicated, because when they start asking for reviews and all this type of stuff, you can get some type of reviews that are from maybe your mentor or a team that you worked with, but at the same time, it's just not that credible. At the end of the day, what you have to do and what I did is just tell them, hey, look, I know I'm pretty new at this. I know there's other agencies who have hundreds of thousands of reviews and hundreds of other clients. Just be straight up. What I say is, for this other company, you're just going to be a number in their logbook. For me, you're going to be Miss Smith Jones, whatever, right? So it's going to be more personal. You give them that personal connection. You say, listen, I know I'm just starting, but I'm going to be working my butt off to get a good review from you to make sure that you're taken care of so I can get more clients through the door. Boom. Most of the time, that's going to work. And just be honest with them, right? Don't lie. Don't be like, oh, we have, all these other people. Don't make fake reviews, because that's pretty obvious, right? People are going to hop on and be like, I checked out your Trustpilot and you have like 20 reviews from the last 2 days. Like, that's not good. So just be honest. That's what I've been doing, and it's been working for me, right? I'm still pretty new at this, but I think in the last 3 months since I started, I've gone pretty quickly and I've been able to gain a lot of experience. So I'm just giving you guys what's worked for me so far. So getting into the guarantee, pay per close, or any certain amount of clients in X amount of days. What does this mean? So for example, real estate agents, the most common one that I see, and I'm actually going to just type it out for you guys here, is something like this. So people will say, get 10 listing appointments in 90 days or you do not pay. Right? That's I'd say industry standard for real estate now. It's been popular now for the last year or two from what I'm seeing from my mentor saying. It's one of the original offers that got this whole thing going, to be honest, I think. It's a good offer, don't get me wrong, but it's oversaturated. I think most agencies are running something like this now. So the pay per close system is actually what I'm doing. And at first I tried an ad. I'll tell you guys, I'm gonna actually put my ad history up right now so you can check it out and see. We've spent $1,000 to capture the 6,500 revenue. So that's pretty good. I'll touch base more on this later. But if you can see, pay per close option works for us. I ran an ad that was the get 10 listings in 90 days for 5 or 6 days. We got like 2 leads and they didn't show up. I ran the pay per close, and for the same amount of money, double the amount, if not more, on the pay per close system. Obviously, a little bit less show rate because they're going to be less qualified leads when you do a pay per close ad or a pay per close guarantee. It's not going to be the highest quality. It's going to be, for example, if you're a real estate agent and you see a pay per close and you have $0 in your bank account, or you're just starting and you don't have $5,000 to swing, you're going to see that and be like, holy shit, I'm going to go ahead and actually be able to get this system, guaranteed results, and I don't have to pay until I close. Hip, hip, hooray. But, when they get on the sales calls, I'll tell you guys exactly what I'm telling them and how to avoid that, because you don't want to build out a whole system that costs hours of time and thousands of dollars for us. So that's really the downfall of the pay per close system that I see. You're going to get lower quality leads and you're going to get people that just aren't qualified. But that's totally okay, right? When we're just starting off, I think it's better to start talking to people, get on the calls with them, break the ice, because the first ones are hard. But after you get a first sale and you just get the hang of it, you can vet those people out within 10 minutes usually, and it's not going to waste too much of your time, or even beforehand. I mean, you might have to call them or text them and have a conversation before. So that's really it. I mean, there's a bunch more guarantees that obviously I'm not touching on, but it's just the basic ones. So from here, we're going to talk about how do we possibly acquire these potential leads and, clients. So I've had people DM me on Instagram and ask me, how are you getting these results? How are you doing it so fast? And to be honest, a majority of it is paid ads. Actually, all of it is paid ads. I'm pretty sure most of it, if not all, outreach. We've done a little bit called cold calling, and for realtors I used to know, it's just a lot of work for not so much. I mean, I don't really know. Honestly, I can't speak too much about cold outreach just because I've only done such a limited amount. I've done like 3 or 4 phone calls to realtors I knew, and it's not bad. But if you have no money, honestly, I'd say just go and get a job. Like if you're under 18 and you don't have a job right now and you have no money, and you're trying to start this, I highly recommend you go bag some groceries at Publix. You work at your local Burger King joint or something like that, right? That way you can start funneling that money into these paid ads. It's not to be forever. It's only for a few months, maybe 6 months, maybe a year, whatever, right? Until this pans out. But what you're going to want to be doing is paid ads is way better, because it's something that you put money in and it gives you money back. Look at this, for example, right? I can use real numbers here because I'm a living example. So in 2 weeks, we put $1,000 into paid ads and we got $6,500 back. I mean, that's just gambling, but you always know you're going to win. Like, why wouldn't you do that, right? So if you just go work, you're under 18 years old, you're watching this, you have no job, you have no cash saved up in the bank, go get a job. It's way easier to just do that part-time and schedule appointments for the other time you're not working. I mean, that's just, I think, 100% way better than burning yourself out with cold outreach, organic YouTube and Instagram, right? So that is just going to not really work. What YouTube and Instagram do for you on a organic level is give you that trust. So what I do is, and how I manage this is do free long format videos for our agency on YouTube and free short format on our Instagram. What this does is simply gives people some more, confidence. So most of my competition, from what I'm seeing, is simply just putting videos out there and putting ads out there that don't show their face, or you click on their Instagram, you see the ad, you click on their Instagram and there's nothing there, or it's just, 1 or 2 ads and it's just, get listings now. Like, it's not a lot of confidence. What I'm doing along with my brother is posting at least 3 or 4 short IG format videos or posts per week, and then 1 or 2 long format YouTube videos at least per month. That way these people can actually, say, okay, well, I want to do more research on this agency, and they're going to see my face. They're going to see my brother's face. They're going to hop on the call and be like, it's the same guy. They're going to see all that and correlate it into their head and gain trust automatically. And if you have hours of content available for free, giving them value, I mean, shit, these people are just going to possibly hop on your calls, and some of them might be layovers. Like, I mean, the one of them already has been for me. Like, she was like, I saw all your YouTube videos, I saw your pre-call video, which was 25 minutes, 20 minutes, by the way, and I saw all your Instagrams, and I like what you're doing. And she just, it was pretty easy sell. Obviously, there were some objections, but it wasn't the end of the world. I didn't have to work and sweat for it. So that's what this YouTube and Instagram is going to do. You're not going to get, people just swiping through their Instagram, doom scrolling, and then they see your Instagram and buy from you. Most of the time, that's not it. It's linked with the paid ads. Cold outreach, I would skip on it. I'd say if you have some money saved up, do something that works for you, that you're comfortable with, but at the same time, they can take a risk and bet on yourself and make the money. So that's really it. And then from there, you're going to be making the ads, running the ads with that money that you have set aside, whether it be 20 bucks or 30 bucks a day, and you can do it. For example, my ads, the static ad that's gotten us 30 leads in the last 2.5 weeks now, 3 weeks almost, got us 30 leads with 30 bucks a day. That is really, really good in my opinion. It's a winning ad. I think we got it on one of our first tries. It's just pretty, honestly, a little bit of luck, but honestly, a lot of hard work. I spent hours, a lot of 2 a.m. nights working on that ad, but we finally got it to work. So that's what it takes. So that's really how you're going to be getting clients through the door. Now, once you get them and they start booking calls, I'm going to show you guys. I'm going to quickly hop on the slideshow I use and show you guys what I'm telling them on the calls. All right, so this is just a basic, very, very basic slideshow presentation. I did get this off of my mentor, Carson Reed. So he is my mentor, and I pretty much copied it, not word for word, but he said, hey, just use this. It's very simple. And he says, just like he says, be simple, don't confuse them. It's just the 3 pillars that we talked about, right? So you're going to have the social media ads, the pillar 2, which is the AI, and this is just going through everything, right? So if I go back, actually show you guys, all I'm doing is the first thing of the call when I hop on the call with these potential customers is, of course, finding out what their problems are, talking to them, connecting, making that connection, trying to find something personal. And then, of course, probe, and make sure you're getting all that time, as much time. I'd spend at least usually an hour on these calls. You can expect, depends on the client or the prospect, right? But most serious ones, if you feel like this is actually going to work out, you're going to spend about an hour on the phone or on this slideshow with them, or just in general on the Zoom, right? Excuse me. So once you hop on, you're going to just go through their problems, what they're doing right now. And I will have Devin be joining me on this YouTube channel to show you guys exactly what we're doing, our scripts, and how we're reframing their objections, excuse me. So it's really, really good. And you don't have to be sales master at this, right? I mean, Devin and I, yes, we have some sales experience. We took classes. We know what we're doing, but at the same time, you don't really have to. As long as you're presentable in these calls, you have an okay background, and your English is pretty good. It doesn't have to be the best English. Even if you have an accent, it's okay. I've seen people succeed in this with a heavy accent, as long as you're presentable, right? So what you want to do is just find out what the problem is, find that connection. Once you get into this whole presentation, very simple, don't complicate it. The first one is just talking about what we said earlier, local authority in your city, custom market offer, and you show them an example of the ad, right? This is just a quick example for real estate agents. You can easily make one for your own niche. Pillar 2, done for you AI. This is going to qualify book, reminder of the calls, built to keep for life. So you just literally slap this together in 10 minutes, and it's very easy, something that they can understand. And of course, you ask them before you move on, and you're not going to complicate it. Of course, just talking more about the AI, 24/7 support, check-ins, one-on-one calls, access to AI expert, no managing the AI, obviously, when you're on with us. So this is very important stuff here, guys. So, and then we're going to get into the most important slide, the last one for the investment. So what I like to do is actually show them the bigger number first. And this is just a sales kind of psychology that I use, that I figured out kind of works. So I show them what it would be for a whole year upfront investment. Obviously, nobody's going to do this. And if they do, it's just because they're loaded and they're kind of bored, or they have the money to do it and they really like the system. You're going to get those probably like 1 in 100 people that is just doing really well and they just want to boost everything. They might consider this. But I'd say 95% of people are going to go ahead and actually talk about the 3-month investment option, which is kind of what you want to push for anyway, because it's really the best one for us. So the investment 3-month upfront option, as you can see here, it just says $5,030 a day on ad spend, which you want to make it clear that the $30 a day on ad spend minimum is what they're going to be spending with their credit card, not you. So you want to make that really, really clear. The last thing you want to do is have them, pay the 5,000 and then you didn't make it clear that's $30 a day on ad spend on their credit card, and they go, oh shoot, that's an extra $3,000 I have to pay. I didn't know that. Let's cancel. You don't want that. So it's better to have them say no on this call and be clear on that instead of you going through the whole process, collecting money, possibly building something out, and then when you go to run the ads, they say no and you have to refund, and you wasted hours building out an AI and making ads. So definitely be very clear on this point. Be like, hey, Mr. Customer, the investment is $5,000 up front and it's $30 a day on your credit card on ad spend for the Facebook and Instagram ads. And that's really all I do. And then from there, you just shut up and listen. Obviously, it depends on your guarantee. You might want to touch base, go a little bit further into it, and say what this is going to get them in 90 days. For example, we're going to guarantee that this is going to get you 10 listing appointments in 90 days, or you don't pay us, until we get that for you. So for example, I just say it's a $5,000 upfront charge. Okay, you want to do 2,500 now, and then in 30 days we can do that. By the way, it's 1,500 every month after that if you want to stay on with us as a retainer fee. And if we've already met the 10 listing appointments in those 90 days, you're going to pay for it. If not, we're going to keep paying. We're going to keep working for you for free until we reach that. So that's a guarantee, and it works pretty well for real estate agent. What I do is just touching a little bit more on what I'm doing on actually these calls. When I get here, real estate agents, I tell them it's pay per close, and we do have a pay per close system. So the pay per close system is the same thing. You're going to require the 5,000 or 2 payments of 2,500 up front. It's 30% of your commission, but let's say you get a $10,000 check and you're going to give us 3,000. Keep that until you get your 5,000 back. That's pay per close. And then all you do is pay us every time you close, no retainer. So you still want to collect money up front, because on pay per close systems, imagine you just build it out and they never tell you, or they just don't work. It doesn't work, and you spent hours building this and running ads for them. So yeah, you definitely don't want to do that. So I'm not going to be going crazy into detail on funnels and, our landing page and everything like that. Of course, that's another video, because it is a lot, and this video would probably be 2 hours long if I were to go into funnels and everything like that. But this is just a quick overview of how the AI agency works. And if you guys have any questions at all in the comments, if you're trying to start this up, or maybe you're currently in your AI agency, let me know. I want to know where you guys are at. I'll catch you guys in the next one.